Welcome to the Create Your Happy podcast, where the mission is to empower women in their journey of self-discovery. Here we explore how to fully embrace our humanness, find our unique voice, and understand that through unconditional love and conscious relationships, we have the power to change the world. I'm your host, Christy Holt, your one and only happiness hussy, adventure guide, and conscious funpreneur. I'm on a heartfelt mission to change the world one beautiful soul at a time. Are you ready to elevate your relationships to the next level? I've got you. It's time for a messy fucking beautiful adventure. It's time to create your happy. Hello, beautiful human, and welcome back. This is the Create Your Happy podcast, and I'm your host, Christy Holt. And today I am thrilled to share that this one right here is the 100th episode of Create Your Happy. It is truly a time of celebration, and I want to take just a brief moment to celebrate the real MVP, and that's you. Without my incredible listeners, again, that's you, none of this would be possible, and I am so grateful for you, and I am so happy that you're here, and I really, really just want you to know it. And in fact, as a wee celebration for this 100th episode, I am offering a limited time offer of 1 week of pocket mentorship for just, you guessed it, $100 Canadian. Now, if you would like to take me up on this incredible offer for on-demand voice and text support in your back pocket, you can find all of the additional details in the show notes. In this week's episode, we are going to be tuning into the harmonies of the heart, understanding how regulating our nervous system can profoundly enhance communication in our relationships. And you may have caught that musical metaphor. You're in for a few more of those today. I want to point out before I get into that though we are focusing on romantic connections, I want to really remind you that the insights from this conversation are going to be just as applicable to all other types of personal connections as well, such as parenting or co-working relationships. Basically, anywhere that you have to deal with other humans, these tools are going to help you to do that so much better. So, since I am a longtime piano teacher of almost 30 years, yes, I started teaching in high school, I am going to be bringing out a few musical metaphors to help you to get a better understanding of how your nervous system works and how it impacts you and the experiences in the world around you. So, for a moment, imagine your nervous system as the conductor of an orchestra. The nervous system as the conductor setting the tempo and tuning all the instruments together. This is basically to say that the orchestra is you and your experience of reality, and your nervous system sets the internal tempo and keeps all of your emotional instruments in tune, keeps everything in harmony. So when your nervous system is out of balance, your communications can easily become off-key. So here is how to maintain some harmony. Self-regulation tools. So think of the nervous system regulation as tuning your instrument. Techniques like deep breathing, which, by the way, if you are a player of a wind instrument, you know how your breath is very important. Deep breathing can help you to really get your system regulated in any given moment. This is the most incredible tool because you can use it anywhere, anytime. Other things such as meditation or mindfulness practices can also help to keep you calm and, in effect, can help you to move through survival mode so that you don't stay stuck there. Too many of us are stuck there, and when we're dysregulated or stuck in this survival mode, we tend to react versus respond. And oftentimes, these reactions are emotionally driven. They are fight, flight, freeze, or fawn reactions. And yet, if instead before a conversation, we pause to take 3 deep breaths, we focus solely on, the air coming into your body and leaving your body, centering your mind, grounding your body, moving through that initial fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response, you can allow this initial survival mode reaction to pass so that you're not actually reacting out of this initial survival mode. And you can create space for what I call conscious creation which just means choosing with intention how you want to respond. So when you're in survival mode, your critical thinking skills can actually end up shut out. You might end up in a space where you don't see all of the options placed before you. You're essentially operating in what I call like sort of a power save mode, where your entire nervous system goes into the focus of just don't die. And essentially, the additional, very critical functions are set aside so that all systems can focus on your survival above all else. Now, there is a better way, because by learning to regulate your nervous system, you can learn to move through these initial reactions to bring those critical thinking skills back on board. And that means that you can then act with intention. You can act in alignment with the experiences that you want to create rather than out of a reaction that seems like something you cannot control. Now, the next piece of this is co-regulation, and this is like harmonizing with another musician, another human. It involves both giving and receiving emotional cues between you and the other human that help you to both stabilize, both of you to co-regulate. For example, you may hold hands or place your hand on one another's heart, or even just gazing into one another's eyes can also be a form of co-regulation. And if you're having a somewhat difficult conversation, this simple act of co-regulation can really help to provide a physical connection that enhances the emotional support behind the conversation, helping it to flow with a little bit more ease. However, in order to be able to co-regulate, of course, it first begins with you. So learning how to regulate your own nervous system and building a toolbox for moving through these challenging thoughts and emotions can be invaluable. So I want to just say here, for more information on how to stop the spiral of thoughts and emotions and to build your own toolbox of resources to regulate your nervous system so that you can begin consciously responding rather than reacting, be sure to pick up a copy of my book, Unstuck for Women. Let's just try one simple self-regulation strategy here right now, shall we? This is called box breathing, and we are going to just do 3 rounds of it together so that you can come into a really grounded, regulated space and also get an idea of how you can do this for yourself moving forward. We are going to do 4 count box breathing. We are going to inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, release for 4 counts, and hold for 4 counts. And we're going to do this 3 times. So I will count. All you need to do is follow along and breathe. So we're going to inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. In 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1, and release the breath. Hopefully that leaves you feeling just a little bit more grounded. And I want to share as well that I have some really fun sweary AF quickie meditations all in under 5 minutes that can really help you to also get regulated in a pinch. And you can get access to this free series with the link in the show notes. So hop down into the show notes and grab those free sweary meditations. Now that you are armed with just a couple more tools to start getting yourself regulated right now, the next step in communicating is to prepare for the conversation with your significant other. Now, to ensure your communication is effective and intentional, preparation is key, and it might feel weird or awkward to prepare for a conversation like this, but it is going to make a world of difference. And here are a few tips to help you get ready. Number 1, the best thing that you can do is to ensure that you are choosing the right timing. What I mean by this is making sure that you're not hungry, angry, angry, tired, stressed out, worried, distracted, because these various states are likely to skew your perception and therefore your reactions. And they can absolutely turn a potentially pleasant and productive conversation into a struggle. We want to avoid that. So timing is really important. The second thing that you can really do here is to mentally rehearse the conversation in advance. This is basically to visualize the conversation that you desire to have. So you're going to imagine sitting with your partner, create in your mind, visualize, imagine that there is a calm setting, that you are both open to hearing and seeing one another. You're going to remain curious. First step to this is reflecting on your intention behind having the dialogue. What do you hope to achieve from this conversation? Is it deeper understanding? Are you seeking to apologize? Are you trying to have a deeper connection? Because having a clear vision of the outcome that you would like to create from this conversation can actually help you to reverse engineer the conversation somewhat in a way that will help you to better accomplish that intended goal. Step 2 is to really envision yourself expressing your thoughts clearly and calmly, right? You are the one in charge of you. And you might want to just play this out a little bit. Imagine, how does your partner respond ideally? What is the desired response that you wish to have? Visualizing this can help you to manage your emotions, to imagine your response, your reactions to this. And you can ask yourself, how do you manage your emotions? What are your plans for, dealing with difficult emotions as they arise? How might you choose to respond if they don't respond the way that you had hoped? We can't prepare for everything, and we don't want to go down the worst case, scenario rabbit hole here, but we do want to determine how we want to show up and what we would like our ideal response to any sort of challenges in the conversations might be, right? And the last piece of this is to potentially practice. You can practice this out loud. You can articulate, your thoughts as though your partner was there. You could have a friend help walk you through the conversation. This way you can adjust your tone, your pace, your body language as needed to meet that intention that you've set. You can also watch yourself in the mirror to see how things are playing out, or you could even video record yourself and watch back the replay. Now, I feel like you might think it's silly to do these practices, but if they are unfamiliar and if it does feel silly, this is probably more of an invitation to go inwards to really look at yourself. Oftentimes we feel discomfort arise when something is new. And so I invite you to lean into that slight discomfort and the slight feeling of silliness if this is arising for you, because your relationship and these skills around having good, healthy conversations are worth preparing for to the best of your abilities, right? Now, when you're just simply doing this preparation, I invite you to use one of the self-regulation tools, because when you're regulated, you just create a better mental space to determine your intentions. So clearing away before you start, clearing away any misconceptions or preconceptions or ideas from the past, because those can often cloud our judgment and have us going into something with assumptions and judgments that do not serve us. So we want to do something a little bit differently. And so if we want to do that, we have to do something different in order to have that outcome. So remember, it's not about winning the argument. It's about understanding and being understood. That is what we are all seeking. So your intention might be that you want both people to feel seen and heard and connected, regardless of whatever the topic might be. And you can see that if you carry this intention into the conversation, you might even communicate that with the other person. You actually set the stage. Yes, I'm sorry, another musical pun. But you actually set the stage for a healthy and helpful dialogue. And we'll be talking a little bit more about the actual communication piece and conflict resolution in next week's episode. But for today, I just want to invite you to really reflect on your role in the conversation, your role in your relationship, because of course, it's the only role that you can directly control. So let's just talk for a moment about how you can shift the most important perspective in your relationship. and that's your perspective. Approaching conversations with other people through a lens of love rather than fear can absolutely transform interactions from a defensive battle into an opportunity for deeper connection. And here are a few ways that you can shift your perspective. Firstly, choose a lens of love. Before you even speak, simply remind yourself that you wish to see your partner with compassion and curiosity, with an open perspective, with an accepting and loving perspective, right? This is the intention of speaking from a place of love. Remembering here that you're both doing the very best that you can with the resources and understanding that you currently have. This mindset will facilitate openness and empathy and will help to promote connection together and mutual growth. The second piece here is about identifying your fears, because fears of rejection or being misunderstood can really impact how we communicate. And yet, recognizing these fears allows us to consciously decide not to let them dictate how the conversation will flow. And often, by simply recognizing that they are there and just being aware of them, we can learn to navigate around and with them with more intention, choosing to speak from a place of love rather than being driven by our fears. So for example, if you're maybe a little uncomfortable or anxious about discussing something new in the bedroom because perhaps you fear rejection, you can reframe your approach. You can approach it as, this conversation is about exploring our mutual pleasure, seeking to understand each other's perspectives and desires, rather than about securing an immediate yes to the specific thing that you have in mind. So now that you have the key steps for self-regulation and preparing, this week I invite you for our practical action step to try on both the new regulation strategies and to bust out a little bit of mental rehearsal around a specific conversation that you may have been holding back on having. So I invite you to regulate, reflect on your fears, set your intention, and rehearse it. You will be surprised at just how much this little bit of preparation can really change the dynamic in the conversation. Now, we have covered today some techniques that not only are aiming to improve how you communicate, but also to strengthen and deepen the connections that you have in your life through better nervous system regulation. And remember, effective communication is much like a dance where both partners need to really feel and flow with the music, moving together fluidly. Otherwise, someone's basically just stepping on the other's toes. Okay, that's the last metaphor, I promise. Okay, I don't promise, but I'm gonna do my best. Next week, we will be adding to this conversation to cover a few more tools for both navigating conflict and creating peaceful dialogue that is so important for maintaining your connection in your relationships. So I want to say thank you again so much for tuning in and for opening your heart to these incredible conversations. And thank you so much for celebrating 100 incredible episodes with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. It would be super helpful if you could leave a rating or a review on your favorite podcast platforms. And please reach out. I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences. I am so grateful that we have the opportunity to continue to support one another and grow together. Remember, every single step towards understanding yourself is a step towards more joyful and fulfilling relationships. I love you, my friend, and I'm so glad that we get to do this messy, fucking beautiful adventure of life together. Let's go do some epic shit, shall we? Are you feeling stuck in your relationship? What if I told you the key to a happier, more fulfilling relationship starts not with them, but with you? Introducing Love Reimagined, a transformative mini-course designed to revitalize your relationships from the inside out. Unlock practical tools that empower you to make meaningful changes from within. Ready to reimagine love? Join me now and take the first step toward relationship bliss. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. I trust you were inspired to take back your power and create your happy. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear from you. Please subscribe,
leave a review, and share the show with the women in your life who could use a little more inspiration today. If you'd like to connect or explore the additional resources mentioned in this episode, you can find those details and links in the show notes below. As always, get out there, have fun, be you, and create your happy.